They took their past core competence of customer service and brought it over to the social media space, and they're really engaging with their customers. And sure enough, people are responding, and their numbers have gone up, and they're doing well. Lenovo has a lot to learn. That's coming later. Back to the engagement on their Facebook. They have a good amount of fans. Okay, over 500,000, but they're not really watching the page. We've got spam. You need to have somebody actually paying attention, making sure that things don't go up, and if they are going up, that are inappropriate, but you have to watch it 24 hours. You can't just watch it a couple times, maybe you clear things out, and you have to, you have to pay attention and put the time and effort in. So back to Hot for Words, 30,000. 2 days. 2 days and she got this.
This is pertaining to actually.
Which, she just talks about words and gives a definition and looks kind of scantily clad while she's doing it, but she's fully dressed. And it's like a way to get people engaged in actually learning a better vocabulary than people would necessarily be interested in getting a better vocabulary. That's all she does. But the fact of the matter is she gives good content and people go back. And she's fully dressed. So it's not a porn site.
But
it's about the word.
Shira, from the last lecture that you took in today's lecture, for social media, what I have understood from the slides that you showed,
I can't hear you.
From the social media, what slides you shown, it feels more like that if you have to sell a product, it's really that it has to be sold through a frame of a woman, because that attracts more views to women. That's the general perception.
Depends on the product, and it depends on who it depends on who your target market is.
Right.
But quite frankly, 80% of the buyers out there are women. Men don't buy. Women are the ones who make the final decision. Even if you're talking about a car, we had, who was it that we had for this? Kellogg class, okay, and teacher gave the example of buying a car and how the man would go in and say, I've decided that we're going to buy this car, and then they started to ask questions. Why did you decide on this car? Well, my wife told me that these people had this car because it was really good for their children, and my wife told me that this was a good thing to have because of this and this and this, but I was the one who made the decision to buy this car. Right.
But yeah, that's a point of view. But then, how is it that the women get the more clicks? And if you see brands.
Actually, I was going to show a different one that I didn't end up getting up here. It's what is his name? The Buck. What the Buck? What the Buck? It's on YouTube, and he is, and it's a guy, and he has a show, kind of a gossip show on YouTube, and he has just as much of a following as she does. And I was going to use him as another example, but I didn't edit back at any time. But there are plenty of examples of men who are capable of doing this and women who are capable of doing this. I don't think that the gender is necessarily an important thing, is that people engage with the product. If you look at Ford, the person who tweets for Ford is Scott Monty, guy, okay? But it's about how you engage. It's not, it's really not a gender thing. Again, on the Gap page, where's the conversation? There is none. The advertising here is all about different fits, which is good, which is necessary. It's providing information. But there's no way to make a comment, and there's no engagement. The only interactivity they had, you can go to another site and create a collage of Gap things, if you want to. Which is something, but they don't make any comments on it. There's no real interactivity, and you have to go through a lot of steps in order to do that. So, on to different brands. Okay, so now Lenovo and Dell. So the brands are reaching out. Okay, they're starting. Lenovo's has started later than Dell, but they are starting. They are starting to get followers. They're not following as much. This is a very big thing. To follow those who are engaging with you makes them feel more important. And the more important they feel to you as a company, the more they're going to support the company. When you have something good that happens to your company and they like you, they'll retweet it. They'll tell their friends. They'll do a Facebook post about it if they follow you on the fan page. They'll repeat it. And it works. An example of this. Gap did do one thing that I thought was absolutely brilliant. They had this video, and I couldn't get it on here because I couldn't figure out how to embed a video on here. But they did a video, they did a contest, and they did a video of a Lady Gaga song and something about plaid romance. And it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. It was posted on Facebook, and I saw it from somebody else's Facebook, and then I shared it. That's user-generated content spreading the word about Gap. That is actually giving me content that I want to share. But guess what? It wasn't on their YouTube page. So, you're going to give me something that I want to share, something hilarious, something I really enjoyed, but you're not helping yourself out by putting it everywhere that you should for other people to be able to find it for as long as they need to. So they're starting, but it's about taking the whole thing and pulling it together as well. Dell, on the other hand, has done really well with this. They're also not following a lot of people, but they respond to everyone. And as you can see, people respond back. They have over 1,500,000 followers. They give service. They respond to requests. They also give coupons and everything else, so they can also check the ROI on it. They've created a lot of different social niche places. Like Dell has now a program where the more people who join to buy this one item, the lower the price will go. So say you want to buy this computer. At this many people buying it, they'll have it at this rate. At this many people buying it, they'll lower it to here. And at this many people, they'll lower it to here. So what they're getting you to do is to get your friends to buy the Dell as well, because you don't want to pay that much. You want to pay less. You want to pay at the absolute lowest rate that you can. And you've got a time period to be able to get it to whatever rate it's going to go to. Okay? It's amazing. They're having their customers market for them. And that's the critical thing. And that's what social media does. And that's where the competitive advantage is. And figuring out how to do that is where the money is.
Sorry. How does this result in competitive advantage? Because you're simply lowering the price. And,
You're selling more products. They're creating something where they're having more people buy the same
you
product.
might be getting more market share. So you're not getting more market share.
If you're also selling services with it, you would.
So they make a lot of their profit will come from the sale of peripherals.
Yeah.
Majority.
Right, and this is the base of the product. It doesn't change the price of all the add-ons that you're going to get, and each individual is going to get different add-ons because you never buy the base product. You always end up getting it, okay, I also need this, and I need to get that, and I need to get the other thing on top of it. So if your money isn't really coming from the base product anyhow, it's like phone plans. They give away the phone practically for free. That's not where they get you. So it's also about making sure that your price setup is that your price structure is set up in a way that you are making your money, but you're making it from a different segment. Or different.
Sorry, one question.
Okay.
This offer works. You said that the lady gets about 25,000 clicks in 2 days.
Something like that.
How does she respond to all 25,000?
She doesn't respond. These are just people who have viewed her message. So what she does is people make comments, and then she responds to the comments when people ask her questions. But she does. She responds. And she writes, and she even mentions. She'll mention 2 or 3 of her viewers in her posts. Okay, so she'll say, oh, this person wrote in and asked me this. That person wrote in, da-da-da. So people know, even though she didn't necessarily get to the answering their question, she's read it, she's responded. Maybe she'll get to it later. She's engaged, and you know that she's actually paying attention.
Typically, the age group of people who are actually engaging in social media, as of now at least, according to me, it's between 15 to what